Ready? Let's roll.
Broadcast is live, folks. Hey,
Yep.
welcome to another episode of the TD Report. We got my man. We all over the place today. We in the middle of the Midwest. We got my man Jody Coleman over here from the Midwest. Then we got my man down in the bottom in Miami. We got Cody the Shermanator Bennett. You know, big. Hey, we're gonna start calling them Big Sherm. What's up, Big Sherm?
Big Sherm.
Big Sherm. What's up, fellas? How y'all feeling, man? Talk to me, man. Y'all. You know, both of y'all are a little shaky because on our group text, y'all be a little quiet in the church mouth because y'all quarterback.
Y'all argue about the dumbest shit in that.
But y'all quarterback
I
situation
can't even jump in here.
on both sides. Quarterback situation on both sides.
We don't got a quarterback situation. They got a quarterback situation.
Jacoby Brisket and wannabe Wentz. What we're gonna do here, folks? Because look here, right? Hey, by my clock, it's September, dog. So
Look,
y'all better get it together.
We got 7 days to the start of the season. I have no worry about Carson Wentz at all, honestly. If you look at his numbers, he's one of the few quarterbacks with one of the best TD to interception ratios in the league, still playing. That's something that we need in Washington, a quarterback who can make good decisions. That's something that we've lacked, and someone who can actually throw the ball downfield, which he is capable of doing and has shown it plenty of times. Good decisions with a decent arm is all Washington needs with the amount of talent that surrounds those players.
The only problem I got
obviously comes into play, but I'm just talking about simply on-field talent that's on topic. I think Wentz will be exactly what they need.
Go ahead, Jody.
No, I think he's correct about Wentz. Only thing I don't like, even though he doesn't have a lot of interceptions, he has a lot of fumbles. He had 6 fumbles last year to go along with his 7 interceptions. He actually had 6 fumbles that he lost in Indianapolis, and Indianapolis had a very good team because a fumble can be as detrimental as an interception. But I like what you're saying with Carson Wentz because he does have a strong arm. He has Terry McLaurin. He got an underneath option with Dobson.
Yep.
I think y'all have an opportunity.
Oh, okay. So let me explain something to you guys. I'm gonna take you back to 2016. Okay, coming into 2016, Dallas had an Hall of Fame tight end. They had Dez, who was really killing it, and we had really running back by committee. We had the fortunes
of
playing a
wasn't there.
We had,
DeMarco Murray.
Yeah, when was DeMarco Murray there?
He had just rolled out.
He was
left.
okay.
Remember, he left.
Yeah, he went to Philly. Okay.
We had the fortune of having Tony Romo actually get hit in Seattle. Okay. So what that did was it took a quarterback who wasn't as good as Howell. It took him up to a starting role. Then we hit it with Zeke in. Now, as a Cowboy fan, I'm going to tell you right now, y'all are wasting your time. I would go Howell. And
see, that's another added reason why I'm not worried about Carson, because we have a great backup.
Unfortunately, let me tell you why. Unfortunately, God, thank you for saving that guy. Fortunately, he is saved. But if that guy was healthy,
they said he could play by week 5.
He is y'all Zeke. Howell is y'all Dak, and y'all had one thing that we didn't have was a young first-round receiver already.
And we got another one who should have been the first round.
McLaurin was Dez. We had a better tight end. We don't know with the running back because he could be better than Zeke, but you won't know.
And watch out for Turner,
the further you get down the line playing around with this stuff, because see, you want to get that quarterback in there to realize if he's your guy, then you can clear your roster and you can load your team up for the next 4 years under a rookie deal.
Yep.
That's how you win. Because folks, whether you know it or not, nobody has won a Super Bowl with that second contract. You can name them.
Tom
None
Brady.
of them has won.
Tom Brady.
We're talking about Tom Brady.
I'm just saying, but you said
Tom Brady. Well, we can use Tom Brady for anything. Nobody's played for over 40 years. Tom Brady.
Matthew Stafford.
Peyton Manning.
Matthew Stafford wasn't on the second deal like that with a team. He came in as let me grab it and fit you in.
I thought they signed him.
Okay. Matthew Stafford's second and third deal was in Detroit. He didn't win shit. This new shit, or just hiring a quarterback.
Yeah.
No. When you with the team, ain't nobody winning on their second deal yet. I'm waiting to see it happen. It hasn't happened.
When are we putting our picks in? Super Bowl picks.
We'll do it next week.
Yeah, we gotta do that before the season.
Hold on, Tony. Eli Manning was on his second deal when he won his second bowl.
Wait. Eli Manning was on his first deal when he won the first Super Bowl.
Right.
His second deal, what you mean? We're talking about 11 years ago.
But I'm just saying. I'm just throwing out there. You said that nobody.
No, I'm talking about when his money started getting good, because that money wasn't good then.
Yeah. You talking about
that money wasn't good then.
You talking about that good money? Okay.
With the good money, ain't nobody winning right now.
Only
the good money. Now, eventually, it's gonna happen.
Only person gonna be able to really do it that I feel confident can do it right now would probably be Patrick Mahomes. He'd be the closest person that can do it with the roster that they have.
Or Aaron Rodgers.
The thing about Aaron Rodgers is
their defense is nice.
Oh yeah. Oh, their secondary is amazing. I think they got the best secondary in football.
Yeah. The Chargers take that one from me.
You see they safeties? Savage is so underrated, man. Darnell Savage is so underrated.
Yeah.
So we wanted to make sure that we start the show for Robinson, the running back for the Redskins or the Commanders. Prayers for this young man.
Yes.
He was carjacked, attempted carjack in Washington, D.C. on Sunday. And we want to make sure that we give all our prayers out to him and a speedy recovery. Folks, we've been arguing back and forth. Take it from me, please, a car is not worth your life. I don't care if it's a Hellcat, whatever it is. Folks, if they got the drop on you, give them what they want. That is not how you handle a situation, especially with two gunmen coming at you. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not blaming this kid for anything. What probably took over is what made him a good football player, is his instincts. But sometimes, folks, when you're dealing with guns, instincts will put you 6 feet under, baby. And in that case right there, you have to think about it. We argue about it. If you kind of know the street, if they wanted you dead, you would have never heard them coming, okay? Basically, you weren't dealing with murderers. You were dealing with joyriders and carjackers. All carjackers and joyriders aren't murderers. But, when you get them to a certain thing, like they say in Baltimore, hey, they said, man, it's just a robbery. Don't make it a homicide. Oh, he made it very clear for you. That means he just wants your shit. All right, well, you got it. We good. Please, folks, if you're listening, please give them what they want. If you got a baby in the car, plead for your kid, get your baby, get whatever, but don't do that. Please do not fight these thugs, these hoodlums. Don't fight them for your car. And I'm just, my heart goes out to that young man, because that young man was about to change the franchise. He's that important. He's a true running back. He waited his time at Alabama. He was true. He was about to change this franchise.
Just to throw a plug in, the other alternative, you can always hit up a good friend of mine who's a director, Matthew Stewart, on Facebook. He just got licensed to teach and license others with a concealed carry permit.
Yeah, but I say this. Everybody that's out here that want to conceal, that want to carry a gun, this and that, and this. Hey, man, I'm all for you behind your thing because I'm telling y'all right now, if you are not experienced at handling a handgun, if you're not experienced at shooting, you can do more damage having it on you than not having it.
He'll get you trained up, get you licensed, get you official.
And you can go through all the training. Jody's an ex-Marine. He can probably shoot from 200 yards away. Everybody's not going to be like that. Everybody's not made to carry a gun. Everybody is. It doesn't. It doesn't make sense.
Absolutely.
Hey, Tony, that's 500 yards away.
Oh, excuse me, 500 yards away, folks. Sorry. And there's someone right here who can shoot. And me, I mean, listen, I go to shooting range and I can shoot the AR. That's the only thing I can shoot. I can't shoot a handgun. I can't shoot any of that shotgun, all that BS. AR-15, I'm as good as anybody out there. But I don't know why. That's the only thing I can shoot. But I know I ain't going to be walking the damn streets with it because guess what? They're going to have my black ass in jail. So we don't do that. But to the Commander fans, to everyone around here, please, if you're listening to this, I am serious as my heart attack. Don't do it. Don't fight these cats. Let them have it. Your ride is insured. Matter of fact, he could buy 100 more of those. All right. And I just wanted to say that to the Redskin family or the Commander family out there, to Cody, to Tom, to everybody who was, who was dependent on this guy because he was going to change the franchise.
Hey, so, Cody,
I think he still will.
But Cody, down there, you down there in Miami, and I know that Calvin Ridley, they said he had somebody try to break in, enter into his home. Did you hear anything about that?
Who was that?
Calvin Ridley.
Oh no, I didn't.
The gambler.
Yeah, they said that somebody tried to. He was supposed to be a victim of breaking and entering.
You know where he was? Like where?
Yeah. I thought he was in either. I thought he went back home to the. They didn't say where he's at, so I don't know if he was in Georgia or he went back down to Florida.
Gotcha.
But,
yeah, he's suspended the whole year, right?
Yeah, he's suspended the whole year.
So big that like.
Okay.
Yeah, it's massive.
And guys, so in today's news, Russell Wilson got a 5-year. What was it? $250 million.
Yeah.
165 guaranteed.
Right.
And he hasn't thrown one pass for the Broncos. What do you think about that, Jody?
Well, you know what? I think that you want to have stability. And one thing that the Broncos have not had is stability at quarterback since Peyton Manning has retired. And let's make no mistake. It's only a handful of quarterbacks that's playing right now that's won a Super Bowl. One of them is Russell Wilson. Also, Russell Wilson has a winning record in the playoffs, something that Denver has struggled on. Also, something that Denver has struggled on. They have not beat Kansas City in 7 seasons. So when you can't beat Kansas City, you're going to have problems with the Chargers and the Raiders. They always have a battle. You have to have a commander of that offense. And what better guy than Russell Wilson? You lock him up like we just talked about, locking up your quarterback long term. And then now filling in the blanks because Denver had probably a top 10 roster before Russell Wilson got there. So why not lock him up for the foreseeable future? So I think it's an amazing move for the Broncos. I think that's a move to solidify them in the AFC and be a contender for years to come.
What do you think, Cody?
I mean, I agree 100%. I think it was needed. I think it's something that you have to do as you bring a quarterback of that caliber in. You got to shore him up. You got to show him that vow of confidence and, he's going to play for you even harder now that you just gave him that money expectedly. But according to that stat earlier, you don't know.
Well, I think.
Other news, though, just about an hour ago, O.J. Howard signed with the Texans.
Not the Browns. Dang.
Not the Browns. I think Russell Wilson's move was predicated because of that defense. They got their defense, which was top 3 last year. I think long-term, Denver is a dangerous team over there. A dangerous team because they're going to be steady at the QB. What is the situation with their running back, Cody? Who's their running back? Who's their main running back?
Are we talking about Washington? I'm
no,
looking
at Denver.
Apologize.
At Denver.
Well, Williams is in line to be their number one, but I think they're still going to run a committee. I think Melvin Gordon is still going to get touches. I don't think it's going to be a one-trick show in the backfield in Denver at all. I think you're going to get a lot of both of those guys. I think Melvin Gordon is going to be more of the change of pace back, and Williams probably take more of the touches. But regardless, it's going to be an up and down thing between who really gets the most. I think it's really going to be a hot hand kind of thing. Get these guys 5 to 6 touches each out the gate, and whichever one's really running and getting those yards is who's going to start running for that game. And they'll spell him in, whoever the other is, as a change of pace.
Hey, Jody, give me the wide receivers.
They got Jerry Jeudy at wide receiver. I think he's ready to step up and be that number one guy. They still got Cortland Sutton. They still have him. I think Tim Patrick went out for the year, correct?
Yeah, he's out.
He's out. What about Hamlin?
Hamlin, he's the wild card on that wide receiver core because he returns punts, he returns kicks. But I don't think Russell Wilson can turn him into a Tyler Lockett type of guy.
Yeah. Cortland Sutton, all of that. Jerry Jeudy, I think, is going to be the guy, though, Jody. I think Jerry Jeudy is going to be the guy. I mean, you look at his numbers and what he's done with the quarterbacks that he's had. I mean, the guy's had wide receivers throwing him the ball. And, I mean, the numbers that he's put up every season so far has been pretty damn good. Yeah. So now that he actually has somebody who can deliver him the ball, he's got another receiver, Cortland Sutton, on the other side who's back from that ACL tear to actually take some of the, coverage away from him. I think Jerry Jeudy's going to go off this year.
Oh, yeah. And see, the one thing about Russell Wilson is he always has a low number of interceptions. Mm-hmm. And when you have a defense like Tony alluded to, that they're a top 3 defense. And what does a top 3 defense need for you not to have a short field?
Smart quarterback.
Right. What he had, even last year was supposed to be a struggle year for him. He still only had 10 interceptions. So,
yeah.
And that was with a
horrible defense.
Right. And he was getting hit. He was hit more times than any quarterback in the league. So, that offensive line, they have been putting some pieces on the offensive line the last 4 or 5 drafts that actually can pan out. And like I said, he got a good running game. The tight end is a little bit questionable. I can't even pronounce. His name is Albert. Can you pronounce it, Cody? I can't. Albert.
Tenenbaum or whatever, or
yeah, it's something I can't pronounce it. But
they got Noah Fant. But I thought they also still had what's his name? Hold on.
Now, Noah Fant went to Seattle.
Noah Fant went to Seattle.
I thought they still had that other guy, unless they cut him. I can't remember his name. They took him like 2 years prior. Hold on, let me see.
But what we do know is that Denver is going to be solid. This move today, to me, you got to think about it. Remember, there's new ownership. There's new management, probably. I mean, the ownership and the management had to flood, had to mesh together. So maybe that's the Walton saying, "Hey, we got our thing. We need to keep them."
Albert Okwuegbunam.
Thank you.
Oh, we got Dave in the house.
What's up, Dave?
What's up, Dave?
What's up, guys? Hey, sorry about that. Sorry for the late start, everybody, here on the TD Report. I'm your host, David Cohn.
Yeah, you're going back.
Football season coming up. We got college football season. We got college football on tonight.
Yeah, 7-3
tonight, right?
Pitt is up 7-3. I mean, West Virginia's up 7-3.
Already?
Yep.
Season just getting going, guys. I want to thank everybody for joining us today on a very interesting edition of the TD Report, because at some point this evening, I just won't say when, we are going to be talking about some tennis. Am I wrong?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, we saving the best for last.
We got to save that. That'll be the last block of the show. Tony, why don't you kick us off? What's burning in your ear right now? What do you got for us?
Yeah, we just covered
Robinson. Jody, that tight end over there in Denver actually isn't bad. He had 3 games last year with 2 targets, no receptions. Then he had 4 targets, 58 yards, 19-yard average. And then he went 5 for 5 in the last game of the season for 41 yards.
So
and a touchdown.
Can he block?
And that's with nobody at quarterback.
Yeah, that's with Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback. I just couldn't pronounce his last. He needed a nickname. I can't pronounce that.
Albert Oku. Let's just call him that. It's Oku.
But Cody, what we have to all admit is that the Waltons who just took over the team about a month ago, the Waltons came in, and it took them a month to say, hey, we are where we need to be with quarterback. They know the most important position on the field is that quarterback. That was a reflection of the ownership.
Yep.
The ownership made that move and made that call. Now, it probably took them 30 days because they knew at the ball game. Got to give them a little credit. But what can they do? The Waltons have built probably one of the most, I would say, the best retail place in the history of this world. What do they do? They say, we need to keep our managers, and we need to keep our managers happy. We need to keep our quarterback. We need to keep our quarterback happy. That's what they know. They know how to build. They know how to produce. They know how to make sure it's right. Watch how this team is marketed. You got to think about that. One business that they've led, nobody is marketed better than Walmart. Hell, I don't go there because I don't like the practices, but I give them credit. Right. But right now, folks, when you're looking at these teams, you can almost see the teams with bad management, i.e. Dallas Cowboys, i.e. Washington Commanders. Just look at them. Look at how they run.
But Tony,
am I wrong?
But Tony, in the aspect you said that the Waltons and new management made that decision, we still got to go back to John Elway being the GM, because John Elway is the one that brought in Peyton Manning, and he knew they paid Peyton Manning even when they knew Peyton Manning was going to be his last season when he hurt his shoulder when they won the last Super Bowl. So I do believe that he has to take some of that credit because he is a quarterback. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. He knew the significance of the quarterback position, and he know he hasn't won a Super Bowl since he had a quarterback. Yeah,
but that's fine. And that's great, but he ain't the one writing the checks. To write a check that expensive, hell, you saw it was the second highest. What is it? The second highest average ever?
Yeah, we see Dave is on the bandwagon down there, so he on the fan club. So
hey, listen, Russell got his money. Okay, Russell got another 9-figure deal.
Sierra got her money.
You said Sierra got her money. Hey, listen.
Hold on, nah,
Cody. Not Cody. Not Cody. Hey, listen. What Russell Wilson gets right now with this, he's getting a Lifetime Achievement Award. That's a 401k. Okay, that's what he got. Okay, this is one less score for Russell. He has got, in my opinion, what is this deal going to run, Cody? 7 years?
2028.
Yeah,
it goes to 2028.
Yeah, 2028.
So another 4 years.
Yep.
Another 4 or 5 years.
Another 4 or 5 years.
And the other deal. Yep.
Russell Wilson's got, in my opinion, he's got about 3 more good years left in him. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know. I think if he's protected, he can go, I think, a little longer.
Yeah. So I'm a risk manager, so I hedge on the. I always look at worst case scenario. Give him 3 years. So if you are the Denver Broncos, the window is open right now. That's it. The moves that we make, they're going to, the next 2 to 3 years, they're going to mortgage their future for their present. That's what they're doing. Okay. And you can look at about 4 or 5 teams across the league that are going to mortgage their future to maximize their present. Cleveland, for example. Let's talk to Jody Coleman, our Midwest reporter. Would you say that's the same strategy in Cleveland?
Well, that's absolutely the strategy. I think everybody's taking the handbook from the Los Angeles Rams and seeing how that's successful for those guys. You got to understand, they don't have any draft picks to Cody was at 24, 25.
Yeah.
But they don't have any first rounders.
Yeah.
So they're looking to cash in as of now. The Browns are looking to cash in as of now as well. Look at how much money we gave to Deshaun Watson, who won't play for 11 games. We already signed you got to think about it. We signed Myles Garrett already, Denzel Ward. We signed Nick Chubb. We signed our right guard in Tiller. We signed all the significant parts of that team to win now. And if we don't win now, it's going to be a lot of guys that won't have jobs in the next 2 seasons. So, including Deshaun Watson.
Let's talk win now. Right now, let's say I'd say the Tennessee Titans are in a win now mode. Wouldn't you agree?
I think the Titans are, to me personally, I think the Titans are on the decline. I mean,
you think their window closed?
I think their window closed last year. I think it closed last year.
It closed
don't-
on that interception.
Titans,
They-
Titans just lost their starting tackle in practice. Suffered a non-displaced fracture of his forearm.
Oh.
And that's the second injury. They lost a guy. Lost a linebacker, Harold Landry,
Harold Landry, they lost Landry.
Yeah, that's a starting tackle right there.
and he blew his knee. He blew his knee out. So that win now mode, that's it. I would say their window is either closed or closing.
But
Can I-
something could change the Titans if Malik Willis becomes the starting quarterback.
Which
That
I
allows
believe
them
will
to rework the cap for a whole lot of stuff. Because a fifth round, wasn't he fourth or fifth?
Third,
Right now?
third, he was third.
Third round.
Third round, I mean, what? You got 5 years out of that cap.
Well, look at
5
it this way, Tony.
years.
This could be a very similar situation to what we saw with Lamar Jackson when he broke into the league. Taking over a team that was thought to be going nowhere, and he got them to the playoffs and had them thinking that their window was immediately open. Malik Willis could very easily find himself in that same situation. There are some similarities, but here's the difference. He's going to have King Henry to hand the ball off to.
Yeah,
Big difference than what
Jackson
Lamar
came-
Jackson had.
Lamar Jackson came to a team that hadn't made the playoffs for 4 straight years.
Correct.
So it was a total different team. Well, as in Willis is coming to a team who just had the number 1 seed. I mean, technically, they should have been in the Super Bowl.
They should have.
Tony, the Titans, honestly, their window is already closed. I don't know, this is a bold prediction. They will not even make the playoffs, and they're gonna finish third in their division. I feel like Jacksonville.
Whoa, that's not a good division, Jody.
Yeah, but the Colts are gonna win that division going away. The Colts gonna win that.
Okay. How about another team that thinks their window is either open or should be open? How about the San Diego Chargers in the AFC?
I have high hopes for the Chargers. They're
Wide open.
They're one of my Super Bowl picks this year.
But
That's
they're in
my
a tough
Super Bowl pick.
but they're in a very tough division, guys. They could take a lot of losses in that division and really hurt themselves as far as making the playoffs. 4 teams from that division have never made the playoffs before, right?
Never.
3 teams from the same division have, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's been done. That's what's going to happen. So what that is going to be the football version of musical chairs. Somebody going to be dancing and ain't going to be a seat to get into when the music stops. And it's going to be a good team.
I mean, they split with the Chiefs. I don't see any reason why they can't win that division. I think the Chargers have a phenomenal team, and they're literally poised for a Super Bowl run.
And they need to get that done because Herbo is about to come off of his rookie deal in.
He's got 2 more years.
He's got 2 more years. But these guys, what they're doing. The in vogue now is to let that rookie deal expire or get 1 year before it expires, give them their big money deal, and then they play out 1 more year under the rookie money before the new one kicks in.
Right.
So that's what teams have adapted to that. They're not going to void out those 2 years of rookie money. They're going to use that rookie money because that gives them the cap flexibility, to maybe make a couple of more deals to bring in that big time defensive guy, like, example, Von Miller, for example, and give him kind of what he needs in order to kind of spruce up your defense, get that extra tackle, get that extra guy that's going to help you out. So I like to see the Chargers make a move this year, but in that tough division, man, with a team like Denver, Russell Wilson being hungry, okay, you've obviously Kansas City Chiefs, not more needs to be said about them other than they've won a Super Bowl. They've been to the AFC Championship game 4 straight. They're going for 5 straight AFC Championship appearances, and they've been to the Super Bowl twice. So this is going to be pretty heady stuff in the AFC, and we haven't even talked about Tony's nephew Joe Burrow in Cincinnati yet.
Yes, my man in Cincinnati. What I really want to say is that it's a shame because if you put KC in Buffalo's division, you can put each one of the teams from the AFC West in each division. They would win every division.
No, they won't, Tony.
Yeah, they would.
Listen, man, can I?
Your division.
No.
I would take Denver. Denver would beat every last one of y'all. The other division, I put the Chargers in.
Hold on. Can I jump here if I may? Because y'all are very high on the Chargers, And the first Achilles heel for the Chargers is the coach. Brandon Staley is not a good coach. Period. He's not a good coach.
I disagree.
He cost them so many games with this analytic bullcrap. He lost them many games. That's one thing. We're so high on Justin Herbert. I'm not saying Justin Herbert can't play football. I'm not saying that. Like I said, if you look at quarterback in the dictionary, he would be the model of quarterback. But once again, he has a losing record so far in his career and has yet to make it to the playoffs. Second of all, we got guys that come in. Khalil Mack, is he going to be the same guy? We know pass rushers after having leg injuries are not the same, i.e. Sean Merriman. We also
got
looking at –
You got Bosa to help him now.
No, Bosa is not healthy. I'm an Ohio State guy. He ain't never healthy. He only going to give you 10 games. Come on, man. Derwin James only going to give you 10 games. So what are we talking? The help, and we can't say the best ability is availability. And then I think with Austin Eckler as your starting running back, he's a third down back at best. You got it. He's a third down back.
Isaiah Spiller is going to make a splash as well.
Yeah, he's going to make a move.
I like Spiller. That's a good one.
So
I'm not sold on Chargers.
Okay, so you're not sold on the Chargers. How about the Buffalo Bills?
Absolutely, though.
Oh, see, you see his attitude totally changed. What are you? Wait a minute, Tony. What you talking about? The Jesse? Nah, man. Listen, Jody. The Buffalo Bills were my Super Bowl pick last year. I picked them last year, and I was one series off. They make two games, but they make one stop against Kansas City. They're in the AFC Championship game. One freaking stop, and they couldn't get it. And that was one of the most thrilling games that we've had in the NFL the past few years. It was up there with the Kansas City Chiefs, LA Rams game. Yeah. Those are the two of my favorite games the last couple of years. Okay,
I'm gonna tell you something about the Bills. The Bills stand for boy, I love losing Super Bowls. Until they can get rid of that, I'ma always be on the Bills thing because they're the Cubs of the NFL. Now,
I want to see them break through, Tony.
You know what? America loves, listen, man, like your man said in Die Hard, America loves those little endings, those little great endings. This ain't going to be an American ending, folks. This is going to be where the superstar dies in the end. Kind of like European type of endings. They ain't winning the Super Bowl. The Chargers will be there against the Cardinals.
They can't.
Who watch it?
The Chargers can't beat Buffalo. The Chargers can't beat Buffalo. The Chargers cannot beat Buffalo.
Smoke Buffalo.
Well, I will say this. The Chargers will not beat Buffalo if Buffalo has home field advantage. I'll guarantee you that.
There you go.
If the Chargers have to go to Cincinnati or they have to go to Buffalo to win a playoff game, it ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen.
So we can understand each other. Cincinnati will not make the playoffs this year because that's one of the Super Bowl losing curse. You know, the Super Bowl loser usually don't do well.
No, these guys different, Tony.
Except for Brady. It's only been 8 times, Jody. 8 times that the person that lost the Super Bowl has gone back. Only 8 times. And most of that has been with Brady and Staubach and all them people like that. Man, stop that. Stop that. Come on now.
I think Troy Aikman repeat as Super Bowl champ.
No, but they didn't lose the Super Bowl.
They didn't lose.
The Super Bowl loser going back. Listen, recently, the Rams made it, lost, didn't even make the playoffs.
San Francisco they missed.
Lost, didn't even make the playoffs. I'm telling you, dude, it's very rare. I mean, Kansas City made it, lost 2 years ago, didn't get back to the Super Bowl.
Let's get off the AFC for a minute. Yeah, let's get off the AFC for a minute.
Please.
Talk to me about the San Francisco 49ers and Jimmy Garoppolo's 1-year stopgap. Is Jimmy Garoppolo going to play 6? What's the over-under on how many games Jimmy Garoppolo plays this year?
Without injury?
Just in general.
Zero.
He plays 0
He
games.
plays because this is the thing that if you allow Jimmy G to play, a guy that first of all in history, we're not just talking about in history, he has the 5th best winning percentage in history. Not now. In history, he's in line with guys like.
Wait a minute, how many games is that, Jody?
He had
I think it's 30. I think you have to play 30 to qualify for
30.
that.
You got to be 30. He just played 40.
He was on that list for the 5th best.
He's
That's
33.
30 games.
He's 33 and 14.
Okay, so why would they take him out?
That's my whole point. So Jimmy G did not lose his job. So this is the difficult part about having Jimmy G on your bench. If Trey Lance struggle with the type of talent that the 49ers have, you're going to have to roll with it. And I think Cody is thinking that. I can see what I'm watching. He's thinking that because you cannot roll with this guy and take a young guy who hasn't really started a full season. He didn't even start a full season his last year of college because of COVID. He's going to make mistakes.
Is Kyle Shanahan literally going to let a team that went to the NFC Championship game last year, he's going to let them struggle this year, behind what amounts to a rookie quarterback? Yes, I know he's not a rookie, but he would be starting and playing.
Like that, Dave.
You think he's good enough to keep that job and hold it?
Absolutely. I really do. Wow. Absolutely. I think he was one of my favorite quarterbacks coming out of that draft class. I said it multiple times. I think he is surrounded by the talent he needs to be successful in San Francisco. And I think Shanahan knows that this is the time to make that decision, and that's why they got him and to take over that team. So you need to put him out there. If he struggles, you got to run with it, but that's an if. I don't think he will. And I think them seeing how he's playing and how he's performing in preseason, in practice, and everything is what leads to the decisions of we need somebody back here just in case. I mean, I think it's more of an injury thing of sealing someone that they know can succeed for what they need, I guess, or hope that they can succeed. Jimmy G, I mean, he's made it past and he's made it through, so they know he can get there. And let's have that sitting here as an insurance probably just in case the one that we got and put our eggs in this basket doesn't succeed or gets hurt. We have someone who can come in, and it's not Nick Mullins that we're going to hope and pray can win some games. You know what I mean?
So they're going to basically rely on Deebo Samuel and Trent Williams as far as on offense. That's literally where they're going to base. That's where they're going to base their strength. They're going to. What's that?
And Brandon Ayuk.
Okay. That's I can dig it. I just want to understand how it's going to work. Basically what they're going to do. This is going to be probably one of Kyle Shanahan's toughest coaching jobs. If he can make this work, okay. If he can get this to be a 9 to 10 win team.
Honestly, Dave, I think what they're doing here is the team will be better because they're adding another dynamic that Jimmy G didn't have. Trey Lance is able to move. And with that type of offense and as many running backs and types of options and motions that they run, I mean, I've literally seen Trent Williams run across the line in motion before a hike as a human wrecking ball. I mean,
like a tight end. He's like a tight end, yeah.
Is what you want in that offense. And the way he runs that offense with the screens out the backfield and Deebo coming across that's what you need is somebody who is another threat in the backfield that the defense has to pay attention.
So why they sign him, Cody? Why they sign him?
Because if
insurance
gets hurt as a mobile quarterback with these plays they might be drawing up, who do you got to replace him? Nick Mullins is gone and signed somewhere else as a backup. They have literally a nobody back there. So instead of Tony, for another backup, let's just sign Jimmy G to a 1 year, keep him back here as an insurance policy. If Trey Lance works out like we think he will, Jimmy G's gone next year. If he doesn't, you got a quarterback who can play.
Your boy Jerry Jones is down to one quarterback right now. Y'all don't have no backup.
Oh no, they put him on the practice squad. They
put Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush is on the back.
And Will Grier, both of them.
Yeah, both of them.
But you know what, Dave?
Here's the problem: you can pick them up.
Dave, you know the problem with Jimmy G being on the roster, what I don't like, and I stated this before, is that he never lost his job. He never lost his job. And I think that the 49ers was playing chess, not checkers, because if you release him, he can end up in your own division because you put Jimmy G on the Seattle Seahawks right now, and they could be a problem. He got 2 primetime wide receivers.
I feel like Jimmy G has made some pretty bad decisions with throws in his a decent amount of last games that he's played.
But think about
I'm more worried about.
I'm more worried about being in the Super Bowl.
I'm not worried about his decision making. I'm worried about, can he even make the throw? Can he make the big throw?
Jimmy G?
Can he? He didn't make the one in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. But you know what? You know what, Dave? Sometimes I know we all say, can this quarterback make this throw? Can he? Sometimes it's not. It's that guy behind the center that gives you that energy. Regardless if Jimmy G his records speak for itself. He hasn't played perfect. I know he's Cody. Me and Cody we had this argument early in the year. I agree with him. He's not that great of a passer, but sometimes it's that guy behind center that you truly believe in, and Jimmy G is that guy. And that's why I'm like, why do you keep that guy on that roster when he has part of the team that's rooting for him to really start?
It could also be someone that they're hoping that can help Trey Lance on the sidelines as well. I think is also a big thing. A young quarterback, I think Shanahan's smart enough to know the best way for a young quarterback to learn is with a veteran on the roster. And I think that's also played a big part in the decision of bringing him back, because they literally have no one else.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Yeah.
Cody, what do you think about what's going on in Washington with the roster? We've seen on their roster with their cut downs, they're down to, I believe, and I haven't looked on the roster, the wire yet. They've got 2 linebackers on the whole roster.
No,
Am I wrong on that?
Yeah, they brought back David Mayo, and they also signed John Bostic, who was really
John Bostic is back. Okay, John Bostic.
John Bostic is back, and David Mayo is also back. So we have 4.
Okay, so with what you've got on the roster, is that enough linebackers
for the defense that will probably be running? Yeah, I would say so.
May I make a modest proposal?
I think we're lacking a star at linebacker, yes, but I think we have plenty. I think, Jamin Davis has been looking like a different player than what he looked like last year. Not necessarily a star, but he looks 10 times better. The way that these guys kind of shift across the middle anyway, I think we have plenty of help in the middle.
Okay.
It's not ideal, but it's not a bad situation.
So I'm hearing things from Redskins camps, Redskins blogs, that they feel like Cam Curl can play the role similar to what Landon Collins did. And I don't see that. You know what I mean?
I don't think Washington sees that. That's not his role.
I don't think that's what he does. You know what I'm saying?
He's a whole other side of. He's a whole different safety.
Exactly. I don't think he's got that skill set. I love Cam Curl. I just don't like putting the wrong guy in the wrong position for him.
And you
see what I'm saying?
Exactly where he was. He was one of the most promising 7th round rookies to come out in a very long time. He had a phenomenal year his rookie year. He obviously struggled a bit last year, but the entire defense struggled a bit last year with the amount that they were on the field.
There was a lot of pressure on Cam Curl last year. There
was a lot of pressure.
He was so great, before that, yeah. And I do think that expectations, fan expectations.
It was up and down. He made great plays as well. Just as he was burned a couple times.
Yeah, I think he's a great player. Now, we did see him with his arm in a sling on the sidelines.
Yeah, he's hurt.
Is he okay? Was it just an ouchie? Was it a precaution?
No, he's hurt, but it's a questionable. It's technically not tagged. I don't think they've actually had to come out with their injury report unless they had to drop it today. But it's at absolute worst, he'll miss week 1.
Okay. Why don't we let you get the first word on Brian Robinson? Let's let you get the first word on him.
The best news of the week so far has been that, 1, he's healthy, okay, and out of the hospital, and surgery went great. And then secondly, he's healthy enough to possibly be back by week 5 from everything that they're projecting. So I don't understand how you get shot in the knee and it goes through one side or in one side and out the other, and it misses every single ligament, bone, and piece of cartilage in your knee. But that is some miraculous shit, and the fact that he can play week 5 is crazy enough. So,
Tony, what are your thoughts on Brian Robinson, who is the victim of a rather cowardly attempted carjacking in the District of Columbia? He was with a female friend who was also shot. She was hit, I believe, in the head, and it was a graze wound. So she's obviously going to survive. She'll be okay. Brian Robinson was shot.
I'm going to jump.
What's that?
I got to
Sure,
take
go
this
for
call.
it. Brian Robinson was shot in the knee and the lower leg. Okay.
I spoke on this earlier about what not to do.
Yes.
And prayers out to his family and what not to do. And you know, I spoke on it earlier, and I don't, you know, I'm happy the guy is safe, and hopefully he'll be back by week 5. But you never know, man. When you know, Jody, you probably can attest to this. You've been in the military. People get shot. They may not never be the same again, even though they survive. I mean, speak on that part, Jody. Talk to me. Psychologically.
Yeah. Matter of fact, remember we was up at the Hall of Fame and I introduced you to my friend from Dayton, Ohio that played running back for Central State.
Yeah.
He had been shot. And he was a dynamic running back and probably had potential to go pro. But after he was shot several times, he lacked the desire to play football again, because when you did the whole psychiatric part of it is you don't know if your body gonna hold up. You don't think about football anymore. When
you don't trust your body. You stop trusting your body.
Right. And I've seen guys here that played basketball and football here in the city of Dayton that had been shot, and their game had never been the same. And that's the problem that I have with Brian Robertson. Like I said, this is bigger than football. This tragedy is bigger than football because it's an epidemic, because this is a young African-American that did things the right way. And he wasn't bothering anybody. He wasn't out here being flashy, and he earned everything that he had. And you want to take it away from him, and it's just like that happens every day in America. And I mean, we got to just put football to the side and just thank God that he's going to be alive.
It was one of the more depressing days of being in sports media, was getting the news reports, getting the texts from people, and we're talking people like you, people that are in the know, hearing from Devin, hey, this looks pretty bad, guys. This is what happened. It's depressing to read that. You know, in sports media, you know, yes, we have bombastic takes and this guy's terrible and that guy should be fired or whatever. But like you guys said, putting football to the side, this is real life. This is not to somebody that gets hurt in a drive-by shooting or a robbery attempt. That's real life. Okay, it's not a game. It's serious. And when somebody puts a gun in your face, all the admonitions that somebody like myself might have, you know, I've never had a gun pulled on me, so I don't know how I'd react in that situation. Most people freeze. Okay, right. You're in the military, so Cody, Jody, so you understand. Hey, Jody and Cody, we got to put y'all in different places. Yeah, I can't have the both of y'all next to each other. I'm gonna get confused. So if somebody rolls up on you and puts a gun in your face, unless you are Steven Seagal or you're John Wick, you can't tell me how you're going to react. And like I said, most people will freeze. There are police officers. There are police officers that have had guns pulled on them and they freeze.
I actually wasn't as nervous as I thought I would have been the first time that's happened to me.
Okay. Well, I'm glad obviously you survived. I'm glad you did.
I thought I would, but yeah, the dude just wanted money and he was an idiot and he locked himself out of the register anyway. He came around the register and I'm like, hey, do what you got to do, bro. And he, instead of just opening it, he turned the key, which actually locked it, and then tried to open the register and couldn't, and freaked out and left.
Okay. And, you know, it's this stuff that we're dealing with out here in these streets. I don't care what part of the country you're in. There are guns everywhere, guys. They're everywhere. You don't know who's going to pull a gun out on you in a parking lot, coming out of a nightclub, coming out of a bar, coming out of the grocery store, you know, and just the idea that a young rookie could come here to our nation's capital.
Just go pick up some food.
Just to go pick up some food. And listen, I don't care. He could have been going to a Pizza Hut, you know, just to get a pizza. And life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. You should be able to go and get a freaking pizza. or go out to get a sandwich somewhere, or take your girlfriend out to a movie. Huh?
Well, he said he was just going to get some crab balls. Took his
Yeah,
girl,
that's all.
Grab some food.
I'm glad the young man is okay. Okay. I know for a lot of Washington fans and a lot of sports fans, this evoked memories of what happened to Sean Taylor.
Actually,
It's
in a couple fantasy leagues too, so I'm glad to hear he's coming back.
Yeah, he's gonna. I mean, physically he should be fine. It sounds like there was minimal damage as to what could have been done. Anyone that knows the knee knows a bullet going through a knee, any projectile going through a knee like that, 1 centimeter to the left or right, he could have lost his leg. Literally. Okay, the major artery runs through the back of your knee. He could have lost a leg. Could have shot out his kneecap. I mean, all kinds of really, really bad things could have happened here. And, thankfully, Brian Robinson's going to be okay. I want everyone out here to just be very careful and just look at their surroundings and just be careful out here. It's just so much hot lead flying around out here. It's dangerous. I've got a son that's going to be going away to college next year, and he's going to be walking around with his friends going to get hamburgers after class. You don't know what's going to happen out here. We just all have to be extremely careful and, protect ourselves and protect our loved ones and protect the people around you, your friends. So, that said, from a sports perspective, yeah, go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, I was just telling, we had covered it. I want my man Cody to get that daggone fantasy report up.
Let's do it.
I need you to fill us in. If I'm about to go right now, Cody, give us your rundown.
Well, I got my rankings posted and pinned on my Twitter. So if you got your drafts coming up this week and this weekend, which most people do, go over to my Twitter at Cody Bennett NFL. The top tweet on my page will have rankings by positions for my rankings for this year by position. That's the easiest way that you can do it. It's a cheat sheet. You basically go down the list, and whatever position you want to draft, you take the next best available who's on the board when it comes time for you to pick.
So how many leagues are you in this year, Cody?
I have one more draft to do on Tuesday, and that'll be my 7th league.
You're in 7 leagues.
Yeah, normally I do about 6 or 7 every year.
How do you keep track of it? You put it on a spreadsheet?
Sometimes ESPN makes it very easy. I only join leagues if they're ran through ESPN. I don't do multiple apps.
So their engine runs it. Okay,
well,
that makes sense.
It's just all in the same hub, so I just have to bounce back and forth. And it's designed very well since last year's update to be able to jump between your leagues very well. So if I say I'm looking for a certain player, I can search for that player, click it. If he's not available in the league that I'm currently in, it'll show me on the bottom, check availability in other leagues. And I can click it. It'll tell me in all my leagues if he's available to add, drop, or who has him trade. So it's pretty cool how they integrated the scale.
So give us your
We'll start with wide receivers. And
yeah, let's start. Yeah. Talk wide receivers to me, Cody.
So I mean, I can go down the list here. We'll start with the top 5. My number 1 for this year is Cooper Kupp.
Okay.
His ADP right now is he's the first wide receiver off the board in every league. Number 2 is Jamar Chase. I moved him up a bit from where he is in a lot of other rankings.
He's got to stay healthy.
Yep. And then same with the 3rd, Justin Jefferson. I have Justin Jefferson ranked at number 3. 4, I moved him up pretty high as well. I think he's ranked at like 11th or 12th in most rankings, but I have Tyreek Hill at number 4. I'm very big this year, not because I'm in Miami, but I just have seen a lot from Tua being around here that has been very impressive for the caliber that he's played at previously. And I've seen a lot of connections between him and Hill in practice and preseason. And I have high hopes for Tyreek Hill and for fantasy implications this year for sure. Number 5, Devontae Adams over in Las Vegas. Derek Carr is just going to light him up. And again, just to clarify, these are for PPR or half-point PPR, which is points per reception for you guys who don't know, meaning every time a wide receiver catches the ball, he'll get a point. So even if he catches it for 0 yards, that's still 1 point. But that's the top 5. And just a real quick jot down the next through 10. I got Stephon Diggs at 6, CeeDee Lamb at 7, Deebo Samuel at 8, Keenan Allen at 9, and Mike Evans at 10. And honorable mention for Terry McLaurin, I have at 11.
Mike Evans has been, I mean, aside from the touchdowns, I mean, he doesn't have big touchdown numbers, but his yardage and receptions, he's been pretty consistent.
I mean, he averages even with the wide receivers that they have there, anywhere from 9 to 12 targets a game, which is anything that you want out of any wide receiver in a PPR league. Because if you're throwing the ball to him 12 times, he doesn't have to catch it for a single yard. If he receives all of those, that's 12 points from your receiver. So
nice.
you throw 1 touchdown in there, maybe 60 to 80 yards. I mean, that's 8 plus 6 on top of the 12 receptions. I mean, you're looking at an all-star performance. And he did a ton of them and has been doing a ton of them. Since then. Yeah.
So, Coach, give us this. What day would be the best day, a Monday or Thursday? It should be probably Thursday that you would come on and give your fantasy league.
Yeah, what works for you, Cody?
I would say, we could do both. We can break it in sections because Monday is your day that you really want to start looking at who you put your waiver claims in for. So we can do on Mondays, best players to target.
Okay.
Because each week there's an injury, there's somewhere else that someone lit up, and you need the best guys to try to get, because you put those waiver claims in on Monday or Tuesday, they take effect on Wednesday, and you're able to start, like they clear on Wednesday, and you're able to put them in your lineup for Thursday's week before the lineup's locked. But yeah, I would say Mondays would be good to target, and then Thursdays for maybe any start-sit questions.
Okay, because see, next Thursday the NFL game starts at what time? Anybody got a time?
7:30. Which
Not 7:30, is it?
It's 8 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. So guys, we need to go
7:30 pregame, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
We need to go from 7 to 8 to lead everybody up to the game.
Yeah,
we can do 7 to 8. That's fine.
7 to 8. So Mondays we can be a little later because the NFL game starts a little later, but on Thursdays. So guys, our first Monday will be the first Monday night game, which would be what, September 12th?
12th, yeah.
12th?
Yeah.
September 12th.
Yeah, the 8th is the first game, 7 days from today.
So this is the last Thursday without NFL football.
So I'll hit you. All right, so my top 5 running backs for fantasy. Number 1, I got Jonathan Taylor. It's just undoubted. Everybody really has him at the top. I did not drop Christian McCaffrey as much as some people did. I have him at 2. Fantasy-wise, you have to understand that a pass-catching running back is –
yeah, that's where it's at.
Christian McCaffrey is the pass-catching running back of pass-catching running backs when he is on the field. That's what you want all day long. He's been a top 3 running back in fantasy every year he's been in the league.
Jody, what's that term you use?
Best ability is availability.
There you go.
He's been available just about every single game other than last year. So
yeah, he's not going to come off the field for an ouchie this year, buddy. Yeah, he's going to gut it out.
Number 3 is my favorite running back of the year, Najee Harris. That's why I target him in every single draft.
They're going to ride him like Zorro this year, dude.
Yep. He dealt with a Liz Frank injury early in practice, but he's been healthy. He's slated to start week 1, no problem. He's great. So number 4 is Austin Eckler, and number 5, Derrick Henry.
Where's Chubb?
Chubb split carries.
Nick Chubb split carries. I got him at 13th, but you don't want somebody who's in a crowded backfield in fantasy.
Yeah.
You want somebody who is touching the ball as much as possible.
What about
touching him because Watson ain't there?
Who?
No, but they still have Kareem Hunt.
And Kareem Hunt is well, at last I saw.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong.
Not happy. He's not happy right now. So
Nick Chubb is still a good fantasy pick, but nowhere near a good pick for your first round or second round option.
Okay.
And that's where these top 5 guys are going.
So you would take Eckler over Alvin Kamara, though?
I wouldn't.
This year I would in fantasy, yes.
You don't think that Jameis Winston is going to get him the ball? I do.
He outscored. I'm sure he will get him the ball. Austin Eckler outscored him last year in fantasy, and I just think that he will outscore him this year as well.
Okay.
They love that guy in the red zone. They love Austin Eckler in the red zone. And he's It's just what he does. I got Kamara at 9. I have DeAndre Swift and Joe Mixon above him, and Dalvin Cook at 12.
I like Dalvin Cook. I like Dalvin Cook.
Fantasy, man, it's you guys. You know the numbers in fantasy are a lot different than just watching these players play. It's so much about volume and tendency as far as how they really score. Like DeAndre Swift being so high, I don't think DeAndre Swift is anywhere near as good as a running back as someone like Alvin Kamara or Dalvin Cook.
Right.
But the fact of how they use him in fantasy makes him tremendously valuable. And I think that's going to be tenfold this year, why I have him at 8. Tight ends are always slim in fantasy. You don't really have too many guys out here who are really lighting up the scoreboards. But my top 5, Travis Kelce, undoubtedly. Mark Andrews at number 2. I had Darren Waller at number 3 when I did these rankings, but he's dropped since then just because this injury doesn't seem to be going too well for him right now. He also just got a new agent, so I think there's some other things going on behind the scenes that may cause him to not perform as well on the field. Number 4, who is now my number 3, I have Kyle Pitts, and then George Kittle. And then I'm super high on Pat Freiermuth as well in Pittsburgh.
Pitts over Kittle. Interesting.
Yes, Pitts over Kittle.
One
Atlanta,
touchdown.
I mean, you got to think, man. San Francisco is a very run-heavy team. It's Kyle Shanahan. He loves his running backs. He loves those types of things, short field plays. I mean, and you're going to Kyle Pitts down in Atlanta. These guys have been known to air it out, and he's really the only pass catcher option that they have down there. I mean, who's worthwhile, I think. So he's going to get him. Drake London, yeah, but he's also dealing with an injury, and they just took him this year. So,
yep,
I think that's going to open the field for Kyle Pitts to do better than what he did last year.
You think you can get good odds from Calvin Ridley on that?
What about those quarterbacks now?
Let's talk quarterbacks, Cody.
That's the last. So quarterbacks, number 1, this is a battle every year for me, but I got Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes at 1 and 2. Number 3, I got Jody's boy, Justin Herbert. 4 is Lamar Jackson, and 5, I got Kyler Murray.
Where's Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers, I have at 11.
Where's Dak Prescott?
Dak Prescott, I have at 7.
7?
It's not a bad. Honestly, that's not a bad spot for him. That's about where he's at. That's about right.
You know what?
Just under
Dak
Joe Burrow.
Prescott is going to get you more this year because he's going to run. Last year he wouldn't run.
He's also going to light up those receivers.
Yeah, you get running yards, right?
Yeah.
You get yards for rushing. Yep.
So last year he didn't run. This year he will run, and he'll be in everybody's top 5.
Well, he's definitely going to run because Tyrod,
Joe Burrow, Dak Prescott.
Joe Burrow is a what spot?
6, and then Dak
6?
Prescott. Yeah,
that's a great spot for him.
So where you got
Dak Prescott is going to run this year because the Cowboys' offensive line is going to be in flux. The loss of Tyron Smith for the season and possibly his career.
Put him. He been hurt.
Who?
Tyron Smith has been hurt basically the last 2 years, and the running game has not been as stellar as you'd like it to be, Tony.
Dude, they rushing over 1,000 yards every year. I mean, what are y'all talking about, man? Y'all can't get it perfect. They
don't scare nobody, Tony.
Huh?
Nobody's afraid of the Dallas offensive line anymore.
You ain't got to be afraid. Just do your job. All this, we got to be big and looking good. Our offensive line was so good, it made the Commanders go 4 straight years to get a defensive lineman in the first round.
Now.
It's the truth.
It's the truth.
That's never happened before in NFL history. Why did it happen? Because Dallas' offensive line was so good, and they were getting tired of getting drove up and down the field. It happened back in the day when Michael Irvin with the tall receivers and Alvin Harper. What did the Eagles do? They went and got Bobby Taylor and all these big, tall corners to go at them. Inside your division, you have to win that match first. So you have to match up with whatever is going on. That's just
Tony, given the proliferation of great wide receivers across the league, not just the NFC East, not just the AFC West, There's so many great wide receivers in the league and so many great wide receivers coming into the league. Right now, Alabama and Ohio State, this is at the collegiate level. Out of their wide receiver rooms, there's like 4 future pros just in those 2 places. They've got pros all up and down their roster that are coming into the league. So just in the last 4 years coming into the league, you've had Justin Jefferson. You've got Debo. You've got a bunch of guys that have come in the league within the last 5 years at the wide receiver spot that are absolutely phenomenal. Okay. And there's going to be more coming. As that develops and gets into the league, okay, and those players start to spread out amongst the league, you're going to have to see teams develop cornerbacks to defend these guys, okay, or else you're going to be out there taking a bath, right? So the cornerback position is going to have to evolve one more time. It's going to have to evolve again. And I will say this, you are going to start seeing the hybrid safety become even more of a position, because devaluing the running back spot means you also are going to devalue linebacking. You're going to have a guy that's out there in the secondary that's going to have to be able to come up and tackle, not just in space, but they're going to have to come in and hit somebody in a hole. Okay.
Well, Dave, you already alluded to it, because you said Cody said they only got 4 linebackers on the roster. That's
well, as of yesterday, they had 2. Now they've got 4. They had to make that move. They had to do it.
They have 4 linebackers because of what you just said. They don't need all that. They need people who can actually cover. They don't need people, you know, with all that other crap. They need people who can cover. They need the dime safeties to be able to get down in the box. They don't need all those linebackers.
Quiet is kept. Philadelphia Eagles, they're looking pretty good. If Jalen Hurts can just put the football on people, they're going to be okay. They're going to be all right.
You know what's crazy though? I'm an old school guy. And I still believe if you can run the ball and stop the run, you got a chance to win. I don't care how you want to cut it. I don't care how you want to make it, where you running these 4 wide receivers, this college offense. How many times has that really won? Because if you go back and look, they still ran the ball. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers still ran the ball when they won.
Yes, they did.
If you look at the Rams, they might not have got a lot of yards, but the Rams had almost 30 carries in that Super Bowl. Well, go back and look at it.
It's a good thing they did.
They did, because you got to
ate up a lot. They ate up some clock with that. They needed to.
Exactly. They didn't even average more than a little bit over 2 yards per carry, but what it did was kept that defense fresh. So when they did have to get out there, it made Joe Burrows have to panic. So all this high octane offenses, I'm gonna take a high octane defense. Look at what happened to Peyton Manning when he faced Seattle.
True that.
Look at what happened when Baltimore played whoever they wanted to play, because the 49ers was pretty high caliber when they played them, and that Baltimore defense came on top. So the thing about it is you want to be able to stop the run and run the football. I know they devaluing the running back position. I understand that, but if I like how Cleveland is constructed with the inside, they got both. They working on both sides of the line of scrimmage, and I don't care what nobody say. That's still gonna win football games.
Jody, I love you, and you're correct, but can y'all name the last team who led the league in rushing to win the Super Bowl?
Last team led the lead in rushing. It's been a while. I got actually led the lead in rushing.
The team led the league.
Oh, the team led the league, not the leading rusher on the team. The whole team led the league in rushing. Who is it?
Wow. It's been a while.
The 72 Dolphins.
Damn. That's the undefeated Dolphins.
Right.
The undefeated Dolphins.
But you don't necessarily have to be the leading rusher. I just said you need to be a running team. I think you gotta be a balanced attack. You getting away with it when you got Patrick Mahomes, but everybody ain't got a Patrick Mahomes. You know, and that's why I think that's why Green Bay is struggling, because they don't now they starting to see it, and they got AJ Dillon and they got Aaron Jones. Now they like, hold on, as great as Aaron Rodgers has been, pretty much his whole career, he still has not had that sustainable running game, because sometimes you can't throw the ball 50 times every game and win.
He is the sustainable running game.
Yes, it got to be a little bit of a mix, but I will say your quarterback eventually is going to have to make plays to win those games.
That's right.
All this is this much. But the difference between that quarterback making a play, a special play to win the game, because they're all things even, they're all pros.
Right.
Whose quarterback make the play? I mean, look back at Super Bowls. Goff did not make the play. Brady made the play.
Right.
They won the Super Bowl, right? I mean, you go back. Jimmy G did not make the 2 throws. Mahomes made 2 of the best throws in his career. They won the game. It eventually cost him his job. I mean, you can go back. We can go back through all those Super Bowls. Matt Ryan didn't make the play when he needed to make the play.
That wasn't Matt Ryan's fault. That wasn't Matt Ryan's fault. That play should have not been called for a pass by Kyle Shanahan. That play should have been a running play.
Well,
that was not his fault.
Well, my thing is,
and he should have thrown the football away.
You still make the play. There's
I
a whole
agree.
lot of where it ain't their fault, and they gotta go out and make the play. Russell Wilson didn't make the throws on 3rd downs when they was up by 10 against New England, and New England came back and won. I mean, you got to make the plays. He made the play in the NFC Championship to get him there.
But if you
got to make the plays.
But if you look at every scenario that you name, they could have ran the ball. If Russell Wilson, they just get the ball to Skittles, they host. We not.
They win another Super Bowl.
First of all, we shouldn't have been there to get a ball to Skittles, because if Russell Wilson makes the plays when they were up by 10 points and then they was up by 3 points, we wouldn't even been in that situation.
Correct.
The thing is, he did not make the play at the time. Sometimes that quarterback has to make a play. We can even. Which quarterback will make that play? And that is the thing that we got on Dak Prescott. When all things are even, will you make that play to differentiate yourself from the rest?
But I think a lot of times that we put so much pressure on quarterbacks, Dave. Like we put, and what I'm hear me out. What I'm saying is, I get it. I get that. I understand that. But football is the ultimate team sport. We all played it, right? We all play. You played at the highest level, Tony. I'm pretty sure, Dave, you played as well. It's the ultimate team sport. And a lot of times I'm looking at first quarter of games and quarterbacks are leaving the first quarter already throwing the ball 15 times.
That's too much.
Too much.
That's too much. I agree.
Watch this weekend. I can't wait to get back on here because I love it. I love getting on here talking this football season. Get back on here next Thursday, and we're going to talk about the college games that's about to go this weekend, and watch how many quarterbacks throw the ball over 15 times in the first quarter. I
will tell you, the University of Virginia's got a quarterback named Brennan Armstrong. I will guarantee you he's going to throw at some point this year. He is going to throw the ball in a game 40 to 50 times. I can tell you that right now. Last year, he threw for over 4,000 yards and would have thrown for 5,000 had he not been hurt. You can't win like that. But I will say this. They'll draft somebody that throws a football really well if you could throw it like that.
Yeah.
Sign, Dave. That's a bad sign. You throw it down.
No, I'm not saying it isn't. Yeah. And listen, I talked to Tony Covington down at UVA. He is the radio voice of the Virginia Cavaliers. He said he wants to holler at you. He wants to be on the show. Played defensive back, played in the league. By the way, Tony Covington, good friend of mine. This joker came to UVA at 160 pounds on the scout team, Tony, on the scout team. You know what I'm saying? You know how bad you get treated when you on the scout team. And he was out there laying people out at 160, okay? And played in the NFL. I think he played in the NFL for 7 years. Was an all-ACC guy. And listen, you've got to have heart to play college football. I have a lot of respect for these guys. But like you said, Tony, if you're going to throw the ball 40 to 50 times in college, I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot. UVA this year is going to throw the ball a lot. They have no choice. They're not the same team that they were when George Welsh was there, when he had running backs like Terry Kirby and Thomas Jones, and he could run it on anybody. You know what I'm saying? He didn't care, So you're right. This also filters. It stops in high school. Once you get past high school, you get to college and then pro. You can't throw it 60 times and expect to win. You decrease. I think you increase your chances of losing if you have to throw it that much.
Dave, you got to look back. The two best quarterbacks coming into this season, this college football season, is Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud. You still never see those. And I'm Ohio State guy. Can't wait to the game against Notre Dame. They got us by 17.5. Take the points. Anyway, take the points. Honestly, you will never see. It'll be a drastic circumstance. You see either one of those quarterbacks throw the ball over 45 times in a game.
They don't have to. Their team, they're never going to be behind to the point where they have to throw the ball that much. They're not going to be behind. That's the one thing I will say about this. You will not speed up Alabama or Ohio State. You aren't going to go up 14 points on them and they're going to panic. You see what I'm saying? Right. We got to throw the rock. You might get them to panic a little bit up 21. But this year, unless they play each other, neither one of those teams is going to be down 21 points this year. Not going to happen. They're just too strong. No. So, yes, those teams, if you're going to be looking at drafting a quarterback, and these are two of the top prospects at quarterback in C.J. Stroud and a young man in Alabama. Bryce Young, excuse me. You are not going to get a sample size where you can say, well, you go on the coach's clicker. Here's a game where he threw 45 times. Right. You're not going to be sitting there like that. Okay, I have to throw 30, 35, throw 40. You're not going to see that. You're going to need to see 2-3 games of tape to see them throw the ball 60, 65 times.
Give us a prediction, Jody. This weekend, you have Notre Dame versus Ohio State.
That's easy money right there, man. Marcus Freeman, my guy, man. Big shout out to my boy Marcus Freeman. But we
already got mine.
Hey, we boys at this game. Ohio State wins by 21.
I will be at the MGM shortly, sir.
Right. They win 42-21.
The Ohio State people that I've talked to said if they don't win by at least 20, they're going to be upset.
Right.
Okay. So big games this weekend. We're watching Pitt, the backyard brawl right now. Last I checked, it was 7-3. I'm not sure what it is now.
I'm not used to seeing that as the first game of the year.
That's what I said, Dave. That's what I said.
I'm not used to that. Yeah, I'm not used to seeing that the first game of the year. But you know what? Times they are changing. College football is going to change, and we all have to adapt to it. We're going to cover it.
But it's not cold weather. I'm used to seeing that game and it's cold and they breathe. You see they breath.
Blowing snow. It's got to be blowing snow in West Virginia, man.
Conference. They're not in the same conference any longer.
Right.
But you got to keep that rivalry together. You got Georgia Tech playing Georgia every year. You got to keep certain. I don't care if you in the same division or not.
That's an in-state thing, like South Carolina, Clemson, and even UVA and Virginia Tech when they weren't the same conference.
Yeah, you're never going to lose that game. Yeah, you're never going to get that game taken away. Virginia Tech are going to play till the end of time. They'll always play.
Yeah, the one rivalry I hate that it came back last year, but it needs to come back is Nebraska, Oklahoma. That is one of the
back. Yeah, I like that.
That needed to come back. That game were good.
Tony, that game should come back, but they should be forced just for that game. Both teams have to run out of the wishbone.
Hell, Nebraska, man, they don't have any talent on that team.
None.
Like a drum last week against
Scott Frost wish he stayed where the hell he was. I know that.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, man. It's pretty bad.
We would put Devin on the show, but Devin has already buried the man.
He is definitely, he will be looking for a job by week 5 or 6 because, I mean, I know y'all paid the guy a lot of money, but Nebraska still is a blue blood college in this country, regardless if they haven't won in the past.
Yes, they are.
But you go back to history in Nebraska. Nebraska was a powerhouse.
You got to go back on VHS tape to when they were worrisome. You got to go back to a VHS. They ain't even on DVD. They ain't even on DVD being good, man.
Yeah. Nebraska was one of my teams. So I've been a Nebraska fan since like 79, 80. So
yeah.
I can go way back for some of those games. That was a big time program, man.
Hey guys,
loved it.
We're gonna jump off, but I want to say this: we're gonna talk about Serena Williams when she lose.
Okay.
If she lose,
If she loses.
Right now, I don't want to talk about Serena Williams because she's still playing. She's still got something to play for. Still alive in the U.S. Open. She took out the number 2 seed last night in a very
she has an easier route.
What's that?
That means she now has an easier route.
It's not easier for Serena. She's a 40-year-old player, and she's only played 6 matches this year. So she's going to have to.
She has a number 2 seed now.
She's basically the second or third best player left in the field. I agree. The only difference is this: she got a target on her chest, okay, and she ain't gonna sneak up on anybody. If she wins this U.S. Open, it won't be because they gave it to her. She's gonna have to come out here and take it. It's gonna take another 6 matches to win. She's got to win 4 more matches to win this tournament. And listen, the crowd last night, guys, if you didn't watch it, I recommend you go on YouTube. The crowd last night was as electric as you've ever seen it. It could have been Venus and Serena for the finals. That's how loud it was. You were treated to 3 sets of amazing, amazing tennis, and it was pure theater. If this is to be Serena Williams' swan song, her last tournament, before retirement, she has most certainly given tennis everything that she can give it. And she has taken tennis from a sport that really only tennis fans watched. She has brought everything into the arena. She's got Jay-Z tweeting about her matches, Beyonce tweeting about her matches, pro athletes like Tiger Woods sitting in her family box to watch her play. It's amazing to know. It's amazing to see. Hey, man, she had your girl Dionne Warwick at the match. Gladys Knight. I mean, these are big names in entertainment and sports that want to be at these matches, and only Serena Williams can do that at this level. And maybe Venus, as her career, starts to dwindle down. I will say this. In advertising, we always will ask, is this particular product, is it the side order or is it the steak? Serena Williams is the steak. She's the mashed potatoes. She's the cream spinach. She's the bottle of wine. She's the plate. She's the tablecloth. She's everything for tennis right now. She is one of the biggest stars in all of sports. Okay. And that is absolutely incredible considering where she, Venus, and Richard started. It's amazing. But the story continues on the TD Report. We're going to be back on Monday. And we're going to be
Thursday. Remember, we're going to go Monday to Monday Night Football.
We're waiting for Monday Night Football. We'll be back next Thursday. Hopefully, by next Thursday, we'll be talking about Serena Williams in the semifinals of the U.S. Open.
Finals, and then next Sunday. As always,
finals will be next Sunday.
It will on Saturday or Sunday because the men's is Sunday. The women's will be
Saturday night. They moved it to basically it's the Serena and Venus rule. They moved it to Saturday night, and that's like one of the biggest things in sports is to get that ticket to be able to see that. If you got one.
Saturday, but the following Saturday night, that daggone the 10th will be off the chain.
Can't wait. Hey, listen, you guys enjoy your weekend, your long weekend, Labor Day. Everybody get some rest. My son starts school on Tuesday, so I'll be back in the grind, baby.
Hey, you see that BT for life, baby. We got ODU. Hey, Jody, I know who y'all play, Dave.
I think we play Richmond.
Man, the Spiders. Well, I can't say exactly.
Don't diss the Spiders, man. That's an in-state rivalry, Tony. You got to let them make some money, Tony. Dang.
Hey, I'm a part with this. I'm a part with this. Georgia and Oregon. Georgia is going to dismantle Oregon. Mark my word. I would not be surprised that they beat them by 35 or better.
Ooh.
With all those players that went pro, man, you lost your mind.
Have you seen Georgia's roster? They had people on the
Georgia's
bench that was better than the guys
loaded.
that went pro.
Georgia's roster's loaded, Tony. They're loaded. But these guys haven't all played. Not all of them have played. Oh, here we go. For the TD Report, I'm your host.
Don't be surprised if pull that off.
I'm gonna call you.
Where's it at? Is it in Oregon?
Oregon about to get beat down.
Is it in Oregon?
I think it might be a neutral site. It might be neutral site.
Okay. Well, they might have a chance.
We'll take this offline. For the
All
TD
right, folks.
Report, I'm your host, David Combs. To my left, Tony Kennedy. To his left, Jody Coleman, our man in the Midwest. Thank you, guys. Great show, and enjoy the football tonight. I'm going to check out that VMI Wake Forest. I'm going to check that out.
State and Purdue's on VMI Wake Forest and Backyard Ball. See you guys.
Perfect.
Up, Jody.
Great job,
BT for
guys.
life, baby. BT
Hey.
for life. Gene Tech, baby.
Peace.